Welcome to another episode of the Laura the Library Lady podcast, a production of the Massillon Public Library.
Join us as we celebrate our 125th anniversary during our podcast series, The History of the Massillon Public Library. We've come a long way since the McClymonds Public Library first opened in a house on the corner of historic 4th Street and North Avenue Northeast in 1899. Since then, we've moved to our current home, opened branches in Brewster and Navarre, and added bookmobile and outreach services. In this series, we're going to talk to some voices from the past as we explore our locations. Happy anniversary, Massillon Public Library. Hi, it's Laura the Library Lady coming to you from our studio high atop the Massillon Public Library in Massillon, Ohio. And today we have with us one of our very own library staff members, Christine Bowman. Welcome, Christine.
Hello.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
My background is in history. I actually taught at university level for about 10 years before coming here to the library. But actually, I've worked in libraries in some form since middle school, so
Wow.
I guess it fits that I landed here. It's like my haven, my safe space.
I know how you feel. Me too. So how long have you been here at Massillon Public Library?
I started while I was still teaching back in 2019 as a substitute reference assistant. And then I was hired into this position as the local history and genealogy specialist in December of 2020. So,
Wow, almost 5 years.
I know, crazy.
Well, you've been here over 5 years.
I've got
I've
5 years
enjoyed
of
working with you.
Massillon knowledge right here.
That's right in your noggin. All right, we're going to talk about the beginnings of the Massillon Public Library itself, and we have been around since 1899.
The Massillon Public Library, actually started as the McClymonds Public Library.
Mm-hmm.
It was on Prospect, which is now 4th Street.
Historic 4th Street.
Yes, which of course the library apartments, right?
Yes.
They think of it that way. And it actually opened on New Year's Day, which I think was pretty cool, 1899.
Very interesting.
And it all started with a bequest from George Harsh. He left in his will $10,000 for the purpose of a library. And then they start forming committees to look into this.
Sure.
And it's followed up with a donation by the Russell sisters. We got Flora and Annie Russell McClymonds. They actually, two sisters married two brothers. So they actually donated the Nahum Russell house, which is the house that was on Prospect. And
so that's the one that we know as library apartments today.
Yes.
Okay. So they donated that.
Yes. And then Flora's husband, J.W., whose portrait you can see right above the fireplace in the reading room.
Yeah, our big reading room.
He added to that, another $20,000 at that point, and then donated another $15,000 upon his death. So,
My goodness. I didn't realize that.
yeah, a lot of money. And the community itself
They
put
kicked
up.
in?
Yeah, well, there was a municipal fund that actually paid for the alterations to the Russell House. And then when the library moved, there was the community support there in order
Sure.
to get the new addition built
Where we are today.
for our current location.
Yeah. And so I know I always found it interesting, the renovations that you were mentioning to what is now the library apartments, the original library. They kind of like chopped the middle out of it, right? And made like a 2-story.
Yeah, there are pictures actually in the Duncan room, which is adjacent to the local history genealogy department, of the interior. So if someone wants to see what that looks like, they can stop by the library. And we have a lot of different historic images throughout.
Awesome. So then it became the Massillon Public Library when?
The Massillon Public Library actually is formed in 1922. There was a new state law that allowed for these school district libraries, which offered tax revenue, right, as funding.
Okay.
And that is when it becomes the Massillon Public Library and also the school district library.
And we still are today.
Yes.
Okay. So then in 1937, we opened here at our current location and
Yes.
had the Massillon Museum with us. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the house that was originally, for 100 years, a private residence. It started out as the residence of James Duncan, the founder of Massillon. I've seen some dates, so my assumption is it was probably built 1833 to 1835, like over the course of that time.
Okay.
And that was his fourth residence in Massillon. And it passed through several people, landing with the Baldwins, Frank and Annie. And after she passed in 1930, it's left to the community for the purpose of a museum, library, with the stipulation that it had to open. Something had to open within 3 years. So the museum opened first.
Right.
And then the addition is built by the Albrecht Wilhelm firm, Herman Albrecht. He was an architect, a Massillonian, a name many recognize. He and his firm are going to design the rotunda and the addition to the actual original residence.
Right. So then that opened when?
That opened in October 1937.
So not on New Year's Day.
No, not on New Year's Day. That would have been fun, though. They should have waited.
They should have opened on New Year's Day. So since you've been here and been in the old house section and the new section, which is,
The new old?
The new old. It's 90 years old itself.
Yeah.
But anyway, have you seen a lot of changes, and what might they be regarding the library's physical space?
Well, libraries evolve with the needs of a community, which is great. That's how they stay relevant. And you can see that in the library here. I mean, if you go back a little, even bookmobile services being added, I believe 2002 is what I was told.
Sounds right.
Right. So that's a service to the community that was needed. So physical space is going to evolve with that. I mean, we've had the addition of a teen lounge, which is this space for teens. It's dedicated for them, for their reading, for their computer use, for programming for them.
Right. And that was in the balcony that used to be used for magazine periodical storage, and now that's actually used for patrons to be able to go up there and enjoy that space.
And while we do have physical magazines, a lot of people I read my magazines on Libby.
Yeah.
I use
You
Libby.
can borrow them through the library on Libby or...
use it on my phone. So needs change.
Right.
We have a maker space, which is another thing that is in libraries now that has 3D, printers in it, and a button maker, a Cricut machine, a laminator.
A mug press.
A mug
I know
press.
that one. You
yes,
can make your own
we're
mugs.
adding, I think, a t-shirt press. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with the maker space also.
So nice, to be able to offer that to creative folks who might not want to purchase that equipment for themselves, but want to kind of try it out first. And I know you were mentioning before about like our wooden tables.
Yes, that's fascinating to me because I look at all these old pictures. That's what I do. I'm a historian. So I go and I'm looking at the old pictures and I see the tables that we still have in these old pictures. And they are the tables that are still in the local history room and in the reading room. And it's kind of neat to see that, as well as some of the elements of the house that are
still here.
Still present. You can really still tell it was a home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like you mentioning the tables, I think there used to be maybe 20 or so tables in the reading room. Mm-hmm. They didn't have as many bookshelves, and they had these little lamps on the
computers.
tables.
We now have computers that, again, changing with the needs of the community.
Right. 100 years ago, how would they have known we were going to need such a thing? So we do have to keep up with the times. So I know recently we changed the colors in the rotunda. Yes. So that was an update. Mm-hmm. And
we've also, behind the scenes, created some centralized offices for a new programming department. So focusing on programming needs of the community.
Yeah, what events we want to give to the community.
Right. So we can work as a team to brainstorm, to put out new programming to meet the needs.
And, that's down in the basement.
Yes.
Sometimes known as the dungeon, but you told me Patty has a new name for it. Patty McGrath's our programming manager.
She called it the other day the Hive.
The Hive.
So, right.
That's cool. So thinking about all those minds down there, brainstorming on the events and programming. All right. So what additions or improvements to services offered have you seen here or made yourself?
Personally, I do offer a book a genealogist appointment, and that's a one-on-one session. And it's not just about genealogy. I make appointments for genealogy, but also local history research. So that gives the opportunity to work one-on-one with people so that I can help them with a research goal.
So if somebody has a question about, say, the house they live in here in Massillon,
yes.
They can make an appointment with you.
Yes, and house research is part of that. I did the research. I have a book that I keep in the local history and genealogy department that is an example of the information you can get, and it's on the Duncan Baldwin house.
Oh,
so
perfect.
It shows the evolution, right, from James Duncan all the way through. It has some layout changes in it because there was a remodel in 1906-7. So there's different floor plans, and you can kind of see that hive, what it used to be when it was a residence. And I can, help people do that with their own home.
That's so cool. I know you were mentioning, too, about some of the owners who owned it in between the Duncans and the Baldwins. I mean, there's like a 100-year span there almost.
Right,
so a lot of the info always kind of skips.
Right. 100 years as a private residence, and now
almost 100 years as the library.
Exactly. You read my mind. Yes. We also have one-on-one appointments in our technology department, and we kind of, Jesse's awesome, and we work together a lot because I get people who come in, and I determine during my appointment that maybe what they need is maybe some help with their computer. Or their phone to better access the information that I'm trying to help them get to. And then Jesse is a great help with that. He's done some programming too for researchers on we're getting ready to do one on how to save things, the cloud. So helping people move forward with their research by using technology.
I see you have a little list here. You have removed the $2 fee for obituaries?
Yes.
Oh, people used to have to pay $2
I know.
to...
Now you only have to pay for the copy if you get a copy.
Okay.
So, this terminology, library terminology, right? Barrier to service, barrier to access.
Yeah, $2.
Yes,
And
it's $2.
How's somebody going to get you $2 if they live in Iowa? Well, they have to mail you a check, right?
Yes. And so this is great. We can offer now to email them these obituaries.
For free.
For free.
Awesome. And we do have quite a lot of that, people outside our community who want to utilize the library's resources and have some kind of connection here.
Now, one of the things that, because we are in a historic house, it does limit space sometimes. In my department, I only have so much shelf space. So I have added a program to the computers that people can come in and use. It's not online, but they can come in to the department and get logged onto those computers and use. And it has, I think, almost 200 different maps and PDFs of different books, and that's searchable, and people can actually use those to do research.
So instead of having to store all of the books and maps,
right.
You have that. And what's that called?
The program is called Caliber. It's a free or by donation program that you can find online, and I like it because it gives you a screen that has book covers on it. So it's almost like a library. And so we load those onto there periodically, and I even have some of the books that I have on my shelves, the old histories, because they are searchable that way, right?
Oh, right. You can type in your search term.
And it allows us to go past just Massillon, because when people are doing genealogy, they aren't stopping at 1826 when Massillon was founded.
Oh, right.
And so it's hard to have all those other books because we're limited on space.
Sure.
So I'm able to bring in some of the other stuff using that system.
That's wonderful. Now, what places in our building do you think are the most unique?
I mean, that's an easy one. The Duncan Baldwin house. When people come here, that's one of the first things they point out. This library is beautiful. This library, is unique because of the structure itself. I mean, even the addition now is historic.
Right.
Although I would have loved to have seen it when there was the big chandelier in the rotunda. Yeah, before it met its
demise.
Its demise, yes.
It's like in Phantom of the Opera, it crashed down, right?
Yeah. I was told they found it one morning when they came in.
crashed upon the desk.
Yes.
And there used to be a scar on the front desk.
Oh, wow.
Where it's
Okay.
crashed down.
And I know they made some candlesticks from the original that are in.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. the
in my
candlesticks.
department. Very fitting.
You're right. Yeah. So, do any of the places here hold special memories for you?
I mean, I've only been here, a little over 5 years now. Wow. But I do enjoy hearing the stories, the memories from the patrons, because they have a lot of them. You know, they remember when it was the museum and library together. They remember Oscar, of course. They remember certain librarians that helped them when they were a child. They remember story time, coming here when they were a kid for story time. So I like hearing their memories to see what the library meant to them.
Yeah. And it does mean a lot to a lot of people in the community. And, I think we do try to kind of be all things to all people if we can go that far. But, with the history, genealogy, the makerspace, all the things that we're able to offer and extending into technology, like you say, I mean, that's something that people might not realize that we do have.
A true marriage of old and new here.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Christine Bowman, our local history and genealogy specialist. I want to tell you how much I appreciate you and invite everybody to come down to the library or give a call if you need Christine's research assistance or make an appointment with her. She is available to help you out. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Laura the Library Lady podcast. Be sure to check out the rest of the episodes on the Massillon Public Library's YouTube channel. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many other podcast platforms.